We are good.
Okay, you've never tried Gatorade, so how do you rehydrate?
How do I rehydrate? With water, coconut water.
Coconut. Oh,
Coconut water, a lot of coconut water, and electrolytes in the water.
oh, I
And
forgot about
cucumber
that.
juice.
And what?
Cucumber juice. I juice, and cucumber is good.
Oh,
Oh,
cucumber.
Rehydration with the
Okay.
potassium, yeah.
How do you add electrolytes to?
Tablets, you put tablets in your water.
Oh, where do you get that?
Amazon.
Oh.
See, we're
just a
already
good
smarter.
brand,
See, we're already like.
I'm about to order some right
I'm
now.
going, yeah, no, we're
about
like
to order
we're
some
off to
right now.
7-Eleven to get Gatorade, and we've already learned more. I now know how to rehydrate
So do
better.
you
There we
drink
go.
electrolytes all the time or just when you're working out?
I work out a lot, so I have to drink consistently. Like every week, I juice regularly. I have to, yeah. Cucumber. Like when I know had like a hard workout, I drink cucumber juice for sure. Not just cucumber, but there's cucumber in it for sure to rehydrate.
Right.
Quite cucumber gives you more hydration.
Yeah, I mean, you know, with potassium, you have the minerals you're losing in the sweat, so it's super important when you're working out a lot. Otherwise, your performance is down. Yeah.
I need to get to the point where I'm working out a lot first.
Yeah.
You know what? As soon as I become working out a lot guy, now I know all the things I need to do. Welcome to the episode. We're joined by LydiesFitness, who is, how do I title you properly? Fitness guru? Is that good? I just went straight to guru.
Yeah.
Fitness.
That's so nice. Thank you. Yeah, fitness instructor, personal trainer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is great. And welcome. You're our first guest in our new studio here at the store. You probably didn't know that, but we're excited because we talk a lot about travel on the show. Well, the show's generally about travel. I'm carrying injuries right now from the last few months of travel, and you're our first guest who has a specialized skill because you know, we've had actors and comedians
I
on.
mean, he just put everybody down the fuck. Like, you just put every guest that we had, like, that are not.
Okay, I'll reword it. You're our
Jeez.
first guest. Yeah, because I guess actors and comedians do have specialized skills.
Right.
So, yeah,
I mean, I think-
thanks for pointing out that I was being too vague. But
Yeah.
you have a specialized
You're
skill
also
that we
putting your
haven't
foot in your
had on
mouth.
our podcast. yet.
Okay.
Wow.
Makes
So.
sense.
Yeah, so thanks for joining us.
Thank you. For having me.
Yes. Are you so, where are you from?
So originally, I'm from France. I'm
Ah.
French.
Yes. What part?
Right.
Southwest, close to Spain.
Okay.
Yes.
Nice. What area? What state? I don't know. Is that
So it's a small town called Pau, south of Bordeaux.
south of Bordeaux?
Yeah,
Okay.
Bordeaux is more known. Yeah.
Nice, nice.
I've heard of that.
You've heard about Bordeaux.
Heard
I
of
think
Bordeaux.
I've drank
Wine.
things from there.
Yeah.
Probably.
Nice. And you grew up there, and then when did you move to the U.S.?
So I moved here 10 years ago.
Okay.
Actually, for my work. I started as a teacher here. And I'm still a French teacher, by the way, on the side also.
Oh, okay.
Oh, right.
So you teach French.
Yes.
Okay.
I do both, yeah.
Nice.
And French.
Was that always a goal? Did you always want to come to America to teach?
Let's say that I've always been interested in the United States and the culture. Yeah, I did actually. I studied English and the American civilization in college.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I've always been into it. And
Now you can
always
see the
admired it.
decline that's happening.
You've been here for the shit show.
Well, I love it still, you know.
Right on.
No, that's so then you moved to LA first?
I moved to Orange County for 3 years and back to Europe for a year and then came back to Los Angeles. Yeah, I've been here since. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But have you been to other parts of the US?
No, never lived anywhere else. I've traveled there.
Oh,
but,
okay.
yeah,
So you
I've
travel over
yeah,
there.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
got it.
But yeah,
But you
Right.
like the LA, California.
I like California.
Right.
I like the weather. I have to say.
Yeah, it's much better. Yeah, it is.
That's
I
what,
think it's definitely the best
I think
weather
that's
in
the
the US.
consensus amongst anybody who comes here from Europe.
Yes, exactly.
Is like, I like the
Well,
weather.
I think even all over the U.S. is the best weather. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't think any
Yeah, but
other
don't you have
place.
those talks with all the comedians who want to live in New York? all
Well,
the
that's but
time,
not because
you
of the
know?
weather. That's from for stand up.
That's what I mean. So to them, the weather is not a Trump
Oh, well,
enough of a
no.
trump card. So
Well, I'm
but
just
we all
saying-
come here for the weather.
No, well, but
whereas-
I'm not here. If I need to live in New York for my career, I would do it. You know, I mean, I wouldn't mind.
Oh, of course.
I'm just saying the
Yeah.
best weather in the U.S. it is in California or L.A. You know,
100%.
yeah,
The place to be.
Yeah.
Love living. I took a bike here today. Is it late? It's mid-November.
Yeah.
I mean, this episode is airing at a different, ignore me. But anyway, I'm biking. Whereas anywhere else in the world, I wouldn't be on
Well,
a
I mean,
bike right now.
you could bike in the
it.
Caribbean the whole year. So you're
Okay, right. Okay,
I
sorry.
mean, there's-
Whereas you're very specific this week.
Well,
You're
I'm just
very-
saying. You could go in Chile right now. You can be biking or in Argentina. 'cause
All of
it's-
the other places that I've lived, as a Canadian who lived for a long time in Europe, I was never able to be on a bike and embracing good weather at this time of the year. So that's why I'm happy to live here.
So then,
You accept that? You
yeah, I
accept
guess,
that?
I guess.
Good.
So then were you doing you're also training in France? Like,
No, not in France. I started in the United States actually. Yeah, following I started training because of injuries actually.
yeah, that's
Right, okay.
To rehabilitate my body.
what injuries did you have? If you don't mind sharing.
Yeah, so I was a runner. I was doing a lot of running, and at some early on, I had like a major issue in the one hip, let's say, that did not allow me to walk for a good 8 months. You know, wheelchair and
Like
everything.
really in a wheelchair?
Yeah, no, yeah,
Wow.
something pretty serious, and that lasted about 2 years. I could walk, but not super. Let's say that I was not really balanced. I
Yeah.
was not really aware of that, and so of course after that the running was pretty challenging, and went back to running. And had a second injury on my knee on the same side because the body was not balanced
Of course.
anymore.
Yeah.
And it's at that point that the doctors told me, okay, you've had 5 surgeries on that same leg. So it's about time that you build some strong muscles around the joints.
Yeah.
And we recommend strength training. So I started doing strength training. I had never been into any gym ever.
Right, okay.
So I put my first foot in a gym very late in life, actually. And I started doing it against my will, really, because I really wanted to run more than anything else and could not.
Oh, so
anymore.
to you, a gym was a turnoff. You're like,
Completely.
yeah, I'm not.
It was a
That's
turn-off.
it's not
I
an
had
appealing. Not even a treadmill. It was like,
I've
ugh.
never been into a gym ever.
Right.
I really, yeah.
Did you run like running like just marathons or stuff
No,
like that?
I was running tracks, and I was also running just, going out for an hour and running, training on my own. And so, yeah, I started weight training at this moment and then moved to the United States, went on with the training, fell in love with it, and
Right.
decided to become a trainer myself to
Nice.
actually help people.
Yeah.
Because I do think it's super important for health. And this is how I came into it, actually. Yeah.
Nice. Well, I went through the same thing in terms of like I've always been, active and played, grew up playing sports, played tennis, taught tennis and all this stuff. And then, but I didn't realize, and I used to go to the gym, but I just did it mostly for like, just I guess to look good, but it wasn't like knowing what I needed to do. And same thing, I had a knee surgery. I had to have knee pain, and then I couldn't, like, same thing, 2 years of like pain. Finally have to have surgery. And then after that, that's when I realized, oh yeah, I need to build the same thing, like the muscles all around the joints and all that stuff. And then I started realizing, oh wow, how important it is. And now for me, it's like same thing. I feel like, I go to the gym just to like be healthy and keep myself in shape, so it doesn't, to prevent any of the injuries. And also, and I tell people now, like stretching, like so important and all that stuff. So it's like same thing. I was like, for me, like it really I was like, oh, I wish I would have known this when I was growing up. I wish somebody would have told me to work on all this stuff before, so maybe
Right.
I wouldn't have prevented those injuries or something.
Remember how even stretching, when you get ready, like when you're getting ready to play tennis or whatever, and
Yeah, it
your
was, like,
coach
very
would be like,
quick.
go out there and stretch. And you'd be like, whatever. And just like pretend to stretch.
Oh no, now I stretch for like literally like an hour.
Oh my God. I feel
Like,
like
I do-
stretching is my exercise.
Yeah.
I feel like that's everything I need.
Yeah, no, for me, I enjoy. I stretch every day. I do almost like an hour, stretching, and then that's when I work out. And that's
Yeah.
You talking about yoga? When you stretch? Or are you
No,
talking
no,
about-
just like stretches for muscles. But yeah, yoga, it is kind of like
I wish I
yoga.
had-
I think it's a different. It's like
Yeah.
I would stretch to do yoga, not as much, but yeah, yoga is definitely or Pilates, which is also
Yeah.
great.
I wish I had that discipline. I tried a little yoga, and my body's just like a tightly wound coil. I can't get it. I can't.
But that's
get it
how in
loosened
the
up.
beginning, you like
Oh,
everything,
I know.
right?
I know.
Like it all starts from like things that you cannot do, and now you're like, wow, you wish. Now I'm like, oh wow, I'm like even the other day I went to a doctor, and the doctor was like, wow, you're stretched, you're flexible. I was like, what? Nobody. I all my life I thought I wasn't flexible, but it's because I've been doing it more and more, And same thing with weights, and same thing with like stuff that you were like, oh, I didn't know I could do all these weights, and now you're like, oh wow, and now
Yeah.
so much stronger, But you gotta do it, right? It's just about doing it a little bit by little bit, right? Because you take
Building that pattern, doing it all the time. It's hard to find that discipline.
when you teach people, I mean, obviously it depends on whoever it is, right? You build that lesson or that training for that person, right? If it's somebody that's beginner or somebody that's done a little bit of something, right?
Yeah, everybody's different. Like most people have something going on in the body, some type of injury or some type of lack of flexibility, or they are in just different like stage of the training. So yeah, it has to be like really catered to the person in front.
Yeah.
Unless it's a group fitness class and then you give a few options.
Got it.
People and
Right.
you hope that they are taking the best for
Yeah.
themselves.
Yeah, and then you do. So you teach classes and like private
Yes.
trainings.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So I'm a personal trainer, so I teach anything from HIIT to strength training, and I'm also a yoga teacher. And because I do believe it is important to have it all and to work it all.
Yes.
So many people are asking on a regular basis, oh, what do you do? Are you a strength training person or a yoga person?
Both.
Well, you need both.
Right.
Yeah.
Do really need both. Just think about when you're doing like a squat with an overhead barbell. If you don't have the flexibility in the shoulders to have your arms overhead and your arms up here, you have like some issues.
Exactly.
Or even like to go down into a squat, you need some pretty good flexibility in the hips,
Yes.
in the back to get your extension, or in the ankles. So flexibility is actually not an option. The more you do strength training, the more you need flexibility.
Right.
Yeah, and it's true because you see even those professional athletes how that they could look huge and they're flexible. And then you think like, how is it possible? Because you need to have both. You can't just, because if not, because that's what I learned with the surgery and everything is like, like the muscles have to be strong, but have to be flexible because if they're too strong, but they're not flexible, that's when there's tears
rip
or anything like that.
themselves,
Yeah. So you gotta have, they gotta be malleable, so you need that flexibility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And since you started that fitness journey, let's call it a journey,
Yeah.
and with those injuries, have you yourself sustained an injury since then? Since you've become this? No,
That's
been
the beautiful thing
Yeah, that's
about
right.
it. It literally saves my body, and that's what's making me so passionate about it. Because the
Right.
reason why I'm doing all this, nobody would imagine the 5 surgeries I've had on one leg, and fake femur for a few years,
Wow.
So yeah.
And do you run now?
So now that's the thing. Now
Yeah.
I'm trying to stay away from anything with impact because
Yeah,
obviously
same
with,
thing for me.
5 surgeries and I want to keep my body as healthy as I
Of
can.
course, yeah.
So I'm trying to stay away from it. I can, but at some point I'm going to feel it, and I think it's the case for most people.
Yeah.
Same thing for me. Like before I used, now what I do is I do swimming a lot. Like I swim for, low impact, just for, for cardio and stuff like that. And if I play tennis, I play but I'm not playing all out. I'm not doing all this because, at the end of the day, you still got to count age as a factor. And you cannot
Factor.
think.
I had to.
And you cannot think. That's another thing to that really, because I think also I wanted to ask about you, but the mental side of it, because for me when I had that surgery and I couldn't do all this stuff, and it is the first time that I couldn't do anything. I was always very active and could do anything, and the first time that I couldn't, and it really messed me up mentally because I was like, oh, I'm not gonna be the same person I ever was, and it's true. Yeah, I'm not gonna be the same person I ever was, and it's kind of like you have to really accept that to be like to literally say I'm old or I'm
I'm beaten.
Yeah, I'm like I cannot do what I can. And I think it's a lot of people. It takes, everybody's different, but there's gotta be a time where you're gonna be like, yeah, I cannot do what I was used to do before, and it's fine.
See, I'm still hopeful that I'll get
No,
stronger because
you're old.
I
Man.
have. Thanks, Francisco.
You're older.
Yes, I am older than you, but I have not had a surgery like that.
Oh, you will.
Except
you
for
will.
one when I
Don't worry
was
about
16.
it. Mark my words. You will.
Well, I've got an optional surgery on the horizon right now. So I broke my foot about 3 months ago.
And I told him all the time, like, he's got to fix his shit, and he doesn't do anything about it. No.
What do you mean? I've done
You walk around like nothing.
Well, that would be good if I could walk around like nothing. But I've been rehabbing it and taking care of it.
Then why are you limping?
Doing
man?
everything I can, but I'm limping because I walked too much last week after the podcast. As explained, I did stress it out. I thought I was far along in the healing process last week, and I made that mistake of thinking I'm 90% now, I can start doing things, and then I hurt it. And so now I've gone back down to 60, which happens. But what I was going to say was in terms of concrete and impact, because I used to run a lot on concrete, and I had to make that transition to the gym eventually and to the elliptical machine, and that took a lot of pressure off my joints, and that was great. And then cutting out sugar, all of a sudden all the pain left my joints. So those were things I've learned along the way. And when I cut out the sugar, I felt more healthy with my joints and with my speed and balance than I did 10 years ago. So I actually went through a sweet zone. And now I've broken my foot, and so yes, you're right, Francis. Now I'm fucked. Correct. You're right.
Yeah, that's
I
sweet.
am now fucked.
That sweet zone became the danger zone pretty quick. So he was, but one thing you were speaking about, like eating, like, and that's another thing too. Like, what's the? Well, first of all, sorry, I didn't let you answer the whole mental side of it. Like, what did you think because you had all the surgery? Like, how did you like approach that?
Well, I mean, you have to do with whatever your body is giving you anyway, right? So, I mean, the first step is to accept, exactly like you said, just accept, because you can fight it, but it's just energy lost. And so accept and just adapt. And there are tons of things that you can do. Even with an injury, you can always work around an injury, always. There are tons of things, like literally, that you can do, and you can be really, really healthy still with an injury. For that, of course, it's better to find a trainer who can show you how to work around your injury. But so I just had to learn how to move my body differently. And to be honest, it's the best thing that happened to me, I have to say. Because now I'm so aware of my body, and I'm so cautious, and I know the way I move. That's what makes me a kind of form. I'm really, intense on form, and when you come to my classes, So I make sure people move in a clean and correct way to make sure the bodies are moving in alignment. And I don't think I would have had that focus on form without all this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then in terms of food and stuff, did you change also your diet because of after like surgeries and start training? Like were you eating differently now? Because I was another thing too, also that for me when I had the surgery, like I also started changing a little bit of like my diet and stuff like that in order to complement the training and putting more, like real, like using good protein instead of like so is that a thing that you did too?
Yeah, I had to also, because I needed to make sure that my body had like a maximum amount of nutrients to heal fast.
Yes.
Especially because the first 3 surgeries were pretty intense. So I did use the food. I did use plants also, as crazy as it sounds.
Use what?
It worked. Plants.
Plants.
Yes.
Right. What do you mean plants?
Like drinking some specific herbal teas to have some specific plants with a lot of silicium in it to help with the reconstruction of the bone.
Silicium.
Because it was the bone that was hurt in my case.
I think that's the first time I've ever even heard that word.
I heard that word.
So
I did use all this, yes. And a lot of superfood. Mm-hmm. Anything that could make my body stronger. And thank you, universe, it worked.
Yeah.
Right.
And did you so for like everyday stuff, do you because everybody's different. Like, do you eat? They have like eat a lot small throughout the day. Do you like have like the typical 3 times food, or like what's your for you?
So that's one thing. I know there's all this thing about the calorie count and putting exterior norms onto your body. I really go, but because I can also, I go with whatever my body is needing. So I basically eat when my body needs to eat, and it's pretty regular. So yeah, it's about 2 or 3 times a day.
Right.
Probably.
So, but you're saying listen to your body, which
I'm saying
a lot of us out of shape and fat fucks. So.
I listen to my body.
I'm saying listen to your body.
That's my body. My body loves ice cream.
Is it your body or your mind?
No, yeah. That's,
Oh, okay. Well, there we go.
That's a different question. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Now we're learning.
Because
Is
when
it
you're
your
eating
body or
because
your-
you're getting
Oh, I see.
anxious, or because you're bored, that's your mind that you're feeding, not your body, really.
Ooh, this is a good.
So that's
tip.
why we need to be aware, like, who's hungry right now.
Right.
I think it's
that
really
is true.
me.
It's
Okay.
it is completely true. It's like when you're like, that's where like I need to eat because I need to energy,
you
like
need the
gasoline
sustenance.
in my body, or I'm eating just because I'm bored, or I'm eating because I'm high
Stoned.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing too, like getting like using weed and stuff like that, like, or late nights, come late at night, because also we have as comedians, we sleep late or we work late. So that's another thing too, like get home at 1 in the morning and then not eat, at that, or eat, you can eat still good, but not bad, right? I mean, because does it matter the time or
Somebody once told me that when you psychologically feel that you're hungry or have the munchies or whatever, a tall glass of water can sometimes fill you up more than you think. So instead of rifling through the cupboards or putting that popcorn in the microwave or whatever you're doing, fill up a glass of water, chug it down, and your hunger might go away. I rarely achieve that. I often go for the munchie, for whatever it is. Like,
Like everything, it's about stopping for a second and asking yourself, okay, instead of going right away, like on an impulse and go eat something, just taking like a few seconds, a few breaths, and wondering if you're really hungry. Maybe it's just water, maybe you're just dehydrated, and maybe you're really hungry. But just taking that pause, pausing for a minute, just to wonder, really. Okay, and then the second question would be, what can I add to my body? And that's the question I go by. What can I add right now in terms of nutrition? So it's not about I'm trying to stay away from this or that. It's more I'm thinking about adding constantly. So I'm going to go with something that has more nutrients than something that is just empty calorie,
Yeah.
So that's what I'm thinking. If I'm eating more than I should, okay, but at least what am I eating? Am I eating like good fruits? Am I drinking a good juice with good nutrients in it?
or is it Gatorade? Is it blue Gatorade?
And what's a good, speaking of that, like good snacks or stuff to do to like when that thing happens and you're like, you don't want to eat empty calories, but you want to have something, but you also don't need to eat a full meal. Or you're too late to make a full meal. What do you recommend in terms of that?
Well, I really recommend basic things, and that's what I do too. I always have like it's very basic what I'm going to tell you.
Yeah, no, I like that.
But like veggies cut with some hummus just in case, or some hard-boiled eggs already made. In my car, I have always a bag, and in it I have a few bags of nuts with different types of nuts and dried fruits. This way, when I'm craving something, while I'm in my car or on the go and I know I can't really have a full meal within a few hours, I know I have that. And trust me, when you eat a few almonds and let's say dried prunes, you're going to eat less because it's not as good as an ice cream,
of
probably.
Course, yeah.
Right.
But you're going to be satiated and you're going to eat less. And you have all the nutrients and the good fats, which is going to keep you satiated longer. So I have those in my car.
Nice.
And that works really well because how many times am I super hungry? And if I went on to an impulse, I would go and take like cookies. Like,
Yeah.
But I have only those. So
Yeah, that's another.
That's what I
And I think that's another thing too. Is not buying the stuff
Keep
so you
it
don't
out
have
of
it
your
there.
cupboards.
Yeah, I don't. That's what I
Exactly.
do. I don't. Sometimes my fiance buys stuff, and I'm like, stop buying this stuff because if it's there, I'm gonna eat it. So it's like it's just not
Yeah.
having there, and then you go in there like, well, I can't eat, and then that's it. It's like
Exactly.
I feel that way too. Like a lot of what's in my cupboards, that's one of the bonuses. I did learn that, like not to put all the garbage in my cupboards so that I can avoid it. That comes with the sugar-free thing. But I wanted to ask you about the scale of the nuts, like on the
there's a lot of
on the
you
nut
can't eat too much
spectrum.
either, yeah.
On the nut spectrum. Because some people say just a handful of almonds.
But you can't eat too much
Right.
either because then it's
And I
too
got
much
a big
fat,
ass
right?
bag of almonds sitting by my bed right now because last night I was eating them like popcorn. But yeah, is there a nut? Is there a nut scale? Is that a thing?
Not scale.
Is there a nut spectrum to know about? Because some nuts are fatty and not.
Yeah, they're
as
very fat, right? A lot of
healthy,
fat,
right?
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you
exactly.
cannot have too much fat either, right?
It's good fat and it's protein, okay, in those. So
Right.
I don't know. I would the thing I would be careful with is, they sell all those nuts with tons of salt into it or spices.
Yeah, I don't do
And
that.
Each time you have salt, it's going to promote the eating. Okay, you're going to want to eat more probably.
Oh, okay.
So I would go more
I do
towards the raw
unsalted.
nuts.
I do. That's what I buy. Raw, unsalted.
Yes.
Really?
And
Yeah,
naturally,
you never. Well, you were buying
I'm
salt.
always salted.
Oh, what a
Oh yeah,
jeez.
I'm always
No
roasted
wonder you're.
salted.
What are
you're
you
going to
doing?
eat more probably.
I'm roasted salted pistachios.
That's horrible.
Roasted salted. Well, it's
Anything that's
mean,
salted and
not horrible.
it's
I mean,
better
but
than
it's
some.
well, it's
of
not
the nuts
horrible,
for
but
sure.
it's yeah.
but
It's not.
it's good to know that it's not.
Yeah, that's all
a
I
little bit of
buy.
Salt. I was always told never hurts.
Well,
Yeah, it does.
it depends.
Does it hurt your foot now?
But let's say that you're going to eat more. Even if you give me something with salt, I'm going to eat way more than if it's raw, naturally.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
They just it's like potato chips or whatever.
exactly.
Like,
Yeah, that's something that you're going to keep
Damn
eating.
you, salt. I love salt.
And then is there any? What's your? Do you have what's it called, cheat meals or anything like that, where you're like, this week I'm gonna eat this, or like, do you have that, or do you just do it whenever you want to, or like? And what's the thing to do, like in terms of cheat meals? Like, if that is that a thing, or because some people use? Because I got a friend who's like, I got my cheat meal, but he's always fat. So it's like, you're not changing anything. You're cheating yourself, man. Like because I think it's like not that he's fat, but he just doesn't lose weight because. Yeah, he might work out, do like a couple of days, and then eat bad like a day, and then it's like everything that he worked out or tried to then.
I have friends who don't
So
get
then
it.
there's no real like
They're
you're
eating
not.
salad. You have the friends that eat the salad but put all the salad
Yeah, that
dressing on.
ranch,
Like, but I'm
horrible.
eating healthy, and you're like, I know
That's
it's
ranch is
not
not- yeah,
healthy,
yeah,
but
yeah.
they've convinced themselves. So this is a
So what do you
Yeah.
do for that? Like in terms of, or like, what's your process because you obviously don't eat. Sometimes you want to eat a pizza if you want to.
Oh
eat.
yeah, and I do
yeah.
eat pizza. Yeah, I don't think I remove so many things. Again, what I do is I add, and just the fact of adding nutrients.
So you add
get
nuts to
full-
the pizza? I mean,
Yes, but you're
Can you add?
almost. It's about adding. So if I'm going to eat pizza, at least I'm going to add peppers on top to have the vitamin C from the pepper. I'm going to add olives to have the good fat of the olives. I'm going to add
They're salty.
It's about adding.
yeah, because
Olives.
so basically cheese pizza is the worst.
Yeah. I mean,
That's the worst thing you can find.
So what I do is when there's a cheat meal like that, I always add, and again, I'm all about juicing. I always add a juice to make sure at least I get the nutrients.
So,
from
but I heard juices like that doesn't. I heard like when you juice anything, like it takes away some
absorbed.
nutrients.
I always heard that juices you absorb it straight into your bloodstream,
Yes.
so you're absorbing too much too quickly. Whereas when you're eating the fruits and stuff,
Or
it's
the
healthier.
vegetables, yeah.
So in the juices, you have always the option of putting sugar into it, like fruits. Maybe it's a good way to start juicing, putting a little bit of sugar, but
Like an apple.
yeah, but like a full apple, yeah,
Too
it's
much.
a lot of
It's
sugar.
a lot of
for
sugar,
the
yeah.
blood system, right?
Bananas too, right? A lot of sugar.
You can't really juice a banana. You can mix it though.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, avoiding putting too much sugar into the juice for sure. And so it removes the fibers. And the reason why it's interesting is because since you remove the fiber, it doesn't go through the regular digestive, through the digestive process, let's say. And you get more nutrients and faster into the blood system.
Oh, really?
Because in a juice, let's say you're going to put like a bunch of parsley like that, which is really full in vitamin C and tons of other stuff. Chlorophylla, you're going to put like all this of kale, you're going to put like maybe 4 pieces of celery and then that of cucumber, 1 lemon, and all this only in the morning. You wake up, you have your juice with whatever breakfast you usually take, and you already have all this intake of vitamins right from the morning. And you add ginger, you add turmeric,
Yeah.
and you're all good, and you won't catch anything.
Nah. and then you do you do yourself? You have your own machine thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
That's
a
the
good
thing.
investment, daily.
Yeah, you let me, or I don't know which one is the one, because people might want to know, because I need to get one of those. I just, which machine do you use, or does it matter?
It can matter if you are like somebody who juices a lot, who's really intense, but having a juicer as opposed to not having one is just an excellent step forward. No matter what it is.
Okay.
Yeah, and by that I mean juicer, not mixer, not blender.
Yeah, because I have a blender.
Yeah, and it's also great to add nutrition. Like if you're doing a smoothie, what prevents you from adding spinach? So smoothies are a great opportunity to add like spinach. Okay, you get that. You can add flax seeds, tons of nutrients in the flax seeds. Then you're going to add maca powder, which is a superfood full of vitamin C. You can add tons of things, and it tastes super good, and it's packed in nutrients. And with that, you're less hungry naturally.
Yeah.
Because your body is nourished.
Of course.
As opposed to eating empty calorie and then 2 hours later you're hungry because your body still needs whatever.
Okay, of course.
Meal.
Nice.
Makes
I
a lot of sense.
gotta get a juice.
I do not have a juicer. I have a bullet blender.
Yeah, I have that.
And
too.
I made a lot of smoothies. And then I thought I had a breakthrough when I learned about all the because I was having a pineapple and orange smoothie every morning. That's how I was waking up. And then it was taught to me all that sugar that was, and I was adding flaxseed and I was adding all the good stuff as well.
But a lot of sugar.
But the pineapple and orange juice, and now I haven't touched pineapple and orange juice for a very long time. But I had to learn that because I'm chugging that back every morning and then couldn't figure out why I can't lose any weight.
So the juices that you do is mostly green stuff, right?
Yeah, I don't put sugar into it now. But I've been juicing for over 10 years.
Do you drink a juice every day?
At least one, every day.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Got it.
How do you feel about fasting then? Because I think that's
that whole
system
thing
that
of
I'm in
intermittent
now.
fasting.
I intermittently fast because I don't have breakfast anymore. I have coffee in the morning, and maybe some like omega-3 capsules.
And then you just have a full spoon of sugar
and then yes,
with it too.
and then I have my sugar drip like a hamster by my bed, and I just. No, I generally, so I no longer have breakfast. So my last meal is at night. So I generally fast in the morning. I like to think of that.
Is that a good thing? I don't think that.
I mean, I'm not a doctor, so I wouldn't be able to. I did it for a while. It worked for me for a while. And in certain periods of my life, it doesn't work. That's it.
Okay.
I think
So it depends on what? What do you mean?
It depends on, I guess, your level of
activity.
It depends on really
A lot of things.
Yeah, what time you're having your next meal, like how active you are also just at work during the morning. It really depends. For a lot of people, it's working. It's working well.
Right.
Yep.
Got it. And then what's your, I forgot to ask, are you a vegetarian? Are you a vegan? Do you eat all the stuff, or what do you do? Like in terms of, besides juicing, like what else do you eat?
Yeah, I eat everything. I mean, I eat everything. I'm just not eating so much meat.
Yeah.
Just because I don't like it. But again, I try to stay away from any type of extremes. Any types of extremes in terms of don't eat this, don't eat that.
Yeah.
I think it's
I'm the same way.
Right. Okay.
Business and everybody's bodies are different. So
Yeah.
So you don't believe in subscribing to a specific diet or anything like a lifestyle diet.
I don't personally, but there are people who have convictions
Who
and
does
that's why
it,
they are vegetarian and that it's working for them. It depends on everybody really. The only thing I am really focused on is adding nutrients. And every day, everything I eat, I'm wondering, what can I add?
Okay.
Everything. I'm eating a salad, whatever. Okay, what can I add? Avocado for my fat. Okay, what else? Chia seeds. What else? Maybe some walnuts here. Okay, what else? Maybe some goji berries in it. Okay, what else? And I end up with that really supercharged salad.
Yeah.
And because of all the nutrients I have in it, naturally I'm less hungry.
Of course.
You know,
Right.
the more
Yeah,
nutrients you put into your body, the less you're hungry, and the less you're prone to go and snack.
And eat crap.
So,
yeah.
And here I am just putting salt on it.
And sugar. And sugar.
I love salt on my salads as well.
Yeah.
But,
And then, because you also mentioned, you travel to a lot. Like, what do you do? How do you change your style of eating and also exercise in Australia when you?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
we travel a lot.
because
too,
this
like-
is a problem that we have on the road a lot.
Well, you
especially
do.
Like
I
late
don't.
nights.
He
don't?
does.
As a comic?
No, I like I said, I use it. I even wake up early to stretch. So do,
Right.
like I may like now.
Francisco's
it's like
amazing and has won the world. But what I was gonna say is, as comics,
Before
all the other
and
comics,
after.
all other comics other than Francisco have a lot of trouble finding something good to eat in a lot of cities and rural towns that we're in. Like you can't get healthy food at a petrol station in the middle of nowhere. Generally, you can't. It's very hard.
you got to bring your own food, kind of stuff, right? Where you
Yeah.
have to travel with your own like shakes or.
Well,
or
I guess that's the
protein.
thing. Like, what do you find that you're doing if you find yourself in those circumstances where, like, LA, very healthy place.
Yeah.
Like this town, this state suits every lifestyle. If you're a vegan, like there's people come here from around the world and they see certain vegan brands and stuff. It blows their mind. But the market is here
Yeah.
for every diet,
Yeah.
every lifestyle.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not gonna be
Right.
in
Yeah.
Iowa or something.
So so whereas everywhere else in the world, when you're traveling, it's very harder to satisfy those things. So what do you do in those situations, or is it just as simple as I plan ahead and I have a bag of nuts?
Well, yeah, it's actually a little bit like that. I plan ahead.
Right.
yeah.
So it turns out comedians, we got to start planning ahead.
No, but simple things, simple things that are not expensive. Anywhere I go, I make sure that I have some fruits, because you never know. Maybe you're going to get stuck in the plane. It's going to take longer, and you don't want to take some particular food from the airplane or the airport, or I don't know. So simple things, super cheap. A banana, rich in nutrients.
right.
It's going to keep you satiated, like having, I don't know, an apple, things you can carry, like some good bars that you can find anywhere. Or just...
I use bear bells. Have you eaten bear balls or bear bells? Not bear balls, sorry. Bear
bars.
You mean the little cheese things?
No, it's
Baby
a protein
bells?
bar. It's a
Yeah,
protein-
I think I've heard.
bear something.
Bear bell?
And just having always the same thing that you can carry easily, like dried fruits. I always go back to those, but again, I think about my nutrients. I think about adding, so having your dried fruits. You can have dried mango, it's super good. Like banana chips, I don't know, dried apples, tons of nuts with you. And
But that doesn't have sugar in it. Those dry fruits, aren't they processed
does.
and stuff?
It does. So of course, when you eat some, you don't eat like a trillion. But
God.
let's say that if you're
Don't
hungry
salt
and
it, Jay. Stop.
you need something quickly, and go for a few dried fruits and some nuts, let's say, for example, or a
Yeah.
banana. Simple, super cheap.
Got it.
Okay.
Yeah, simple things. And then for the food, well, you do whatever you can do. You try to find the best options, and if you can't, you readjust when you come back. Because at the end of the day, it's more about balance over the week than just like, having one day off and
Right.
Then 6 days off and one good day.
yeah, exactly. One day, is it going to change the face of the world? Maybe not.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can.
Yeah.
It's about consistency. And also, one thing that I learned too, the more with exercise and also eating better, the more you do it, it becomes a habit. And now you feel weird when you don't do it. Like,
Exactly.
if I eat bad food, or I was like, ugh, I cannot eat this. Or like, I just don't want to do it. So you just get used to it, doing it, Because everything is a habit.
Exactly. Everything is a habit, like you said, like prepping, eating certain type of food, eating like enough nutrients, just moving the body also, moving the body on a regular basis. It's a habit. It's going to be like anything. Like at the beginning, it's going to be uncomfortable until you make it a habit. You're going to have a good 30 days or 21 days, they say, of a very uncomfortable feeling, not really wanting to do it.
Yeah. See, I don't know if there's an answer to this, but because like we've talked about and stuff, I've been in the zone, I feel like athletically and health wise. There was one time where I was saying, was this in our last show where we were talking about, we were on the road and I knew I was hitting the gym in the morning, and I had a Fitbit. I was into this Fitbit. It was when the Fitbits first came out. And I was literally in my hotel room. If I didn't have all my steps in before midnight, I'd be in the hotel room, like doing some exercises to cross that goal. Mm-hmm. So I remember that. But when you fall off of that, when you lose that discipline, like when instead of a cheat day, sometimes I have a cheat month and a half, when I'm on the road. Well, I had probably 7 Guinness a day while I was in England over the summer. Ugh. And then I broke my foot. So,
now you know why.
So when you fall out of that discipline, it's very hard to get back in. And I don't know if there's an answer to this, like I said, but is there a psychological trick that you can use to help yourself? Because all I find is that I'm sitting there going, do it, Jay. Just start the good habits. Start it. But it's very hard. It's very hard to get. Mm-hmm. I know that Seinfeld used to do that whole have a calendar and you cross off, put an X on your calendar every day.
Well, I think that all depends. I think that all depends on the person, man. Like either you want to do it or not. There's nobody like, it's about having a drive. I think it's all excuses when
I know that's why there's all these little tricks though. Well, but somebody will say sometimes they're little tricks. Think about how bad it can get.
Yeah, but you have to do it at the end of the day. If you gotta trick yourself, fine, but you still have to have the drive to even trick yourself.
Yeah.
If people don't have the drive, then you don't do it, right? I don't know.
The thing is, like anything, any habit to form is hard. Like any habit.
Yeah.
So at the beginning, we have to force ourselves because we will not always be motivated. We will not always be super energized to do it. So it's about having a goal. So first, like establishing your goals. What is my goal? Like within a month. Okay, so my goal is this. Okay, so what do I have to do on a daily basis? And then stick to it. And then, like, of course, it's not going to be easy. But again, it's about that slight edge. There's a book actually called The Slight Edge that is really good, that I really recommend. And it's about, like, taking that step every day. Because every day that you do or that you don't do something, it adds up. What you do adds up, but what you don't do adds up also.
Right.
And that's what you got to remember, because you're always moving. You're always moving. You're always going.
See, that's a good psychological trick.
That's true. You're going away from the goal.
But you're on a line, but you're moving.
That's true.
So any day you're not taking action, you're moving away from it. Just be aware of it.
That's true.
And on the day you are moving towards your goal,
you're moving towards the goal.
That's
good.
See, I like that very much.
But it's not like you're staying in the middle.
That is such great advice, because that's actually why I have trouble, I think, finding that motivation to get going, to build those good things, because I know what it's like to be there. I know what it's like when I'm on a roll and when I've been like 5 months in and I've been really fit every day and I'm feeling amazing. And sometimes I'm sitting on that bed in the hotel going, I'll start tomorrow. But I like that psychological trick that you just taught me of, like,
starting tomorrow means you're going to move backwards.
Starting tomorrow means you're taking a step back today. And I like that. I never thought of it that way. I thought of myself as always at neutral until I start.
Well, let me tell you, you're not at neutral, JJ.
You didn't think I was 300 pounds.
Have you seen The Whale with Brendan Fraser? No, I'm kidding. But I think it's also, that's a great advice. I know
that's fantastic.
That's actually a great way to look at it. You're always moving. Either you move towards your goal or away from your goal. And then another thing that I learned through my thing is, like, it's also not to piss yourself or grind yourself, because sometimes there's one time that you might you ate bad or whatever, and what I learned is not to, like, because like make yourself like, oh, why'd you do that, Francisco? You're so stupid. Like you're such a like no, because it's to be like, well, I did it. Okay, fine. Like tomorrow, I start going again, because I feel like a lot of people do that where they just make
get hard on yourself.
Get hard on yourself.
You're too hard on yourself.
And then that probably make them stop. It's like, why do I even do it if I even do it all the time? And it's like, no, it's like you have one bad day or one bad meal, whatever. Who cares?
Yeah.
You know, and then just keep going. You know.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes, you have to be your best cheerleader at the end of the day, and remember this. And this is a concept that hit me in different areas where I'm less disciplined. That each time you're not doing your core is getting weaker, right? Mm-hmm. It's as simple as that. It's not just staying like this.
And you gotta keep strong. Yes.
And each time you're doing your core, you're actually. So we're always moving, and every day asking yourself this question: okay, which direction am I going? Where am I going right now? Yeah. Am I going into the direction where I want to go or not? That's a simple question to ask yourself every time. So when you say, okay, I'm not going to the gym, okay, but is this going in the direction that I want it for myself? No? Okay, so go.
Yeah.
And also things that I learned too is like also use substitute stuff from like for me, I learned too, like, because now I do work out a lot, and you know, then sometimes I go like, okay, I'm gonna go, like if I'm on the road, I'm gonna go this week, I'm gonna go do some shows. So what I do, I work out a lot during the week, because I know I'm not gonna work out as much in that week, but I'm go like, well, I'm gonna walk a lot more, or I'm gonna be standing more because I'm doing more stuff that I not usually do when I'm at home. That substitutes me working out, you know. So it's like you play those games and like, oh yeah, I work out because I know or I'm gonna take those. I worked a lot for 4 days straight a lot, so I can take 2 days of break, you know, while I'm still performing, you know what I mean?
I think this is one of the problems that I always had in my career that caught up with me this year, because I've always gotten in good shape before I go on the road, and I've always told myself I'll be lax when I'm on the road, I'll have less discipline, so I'm usually good at getting in shape, and then I go on the road. But that's what happened to me this summer. I got in really good shape, then I went to Britain in June, and I came back in August after drinking and having fun for an extended period of time, and then broke my foot. Went to the gym as soon as I got back in August. I was like, I'll start good habits now. And broke my foot straight away.
But that's also knowing where you are in the moment of your life.
Exactly, because I could do that when I was 20.
Of course.
and I had no problem.
Now you cannot just start over you can't just like, oh, I'm gonna work like I, you know, because you don't have that. You're older, you know. So it's like just knowing that, like, oh, I gotta start slow again or whatever it is. Yeah. Right.
But you mentioned something interesting earlier. You mentioned that when you kind of fall off the wagon of whatever habit you want to implement, it's harder, and that also we have to keep that in mind. So each time we stop the machine completely, just to start, like imagine a train that would start by the time you get momentum. Imagine the amount of strength and effort you have to put into it until it becomes a habit and it's finally getting momentum and kind of getting easier. Yeah. So that's why we have to think about also when we stop. It's going to get harder to get back on track. So it's about keeping something going on. And so when you are, let's say, on tour, keeping some type of activity. So some people say, well, I just have 30 minutes. So, you know, it's not enough. Well, 30 minutes is better than 0 minutes. Exactly. Because at the end of the week, how much is it?
I do.
Okay. Yeah. And at the end of the month and at the end of the year. And what about the results you get at the end of the year of 30 minutes added 3 times a week when you thought you could not?
That's exactly. And that's the thing that I follow too, because I meditate a lot too. That's another thing that I took while I was recovering from surgery. And meditation is the same thing. It's like you don't need to do 20 minutes. If you do 1 minute, it's fine. Then tomorrow you do 5 minutes.
Where do you meditate?
I do it every day. It doesn't matter. I could be walking. I could be, you know, sitting down.
Oh, so meditating, you're not like sitting cross-legged.
No, you could. It's whatever works for you.
Fingers.
Whatever works for you. Like I do it when I'm walking the dog, or when I'm driving sometimes.
So you daydream.
No,
I think I've been meditating through life.
That's the thing. That's the thing that people think meditation, or the one that I do, is being aware of what's happening. That's literally what it is. So meditation is not. It's actually the opposite of daydreaming. It's being aware that you're thinking. It's being aware that I'm like, oh, I'm daydreaming. That's meditation is really go like, oh, I'm daydreaming right now. Let me go back to I'm sitting right here talking to you. That's what meditation is. So meditation, so it actually makes you more aware whatever you're doing. If you're walking, I'm walking. If you're driving, you're driving. If you're talking to somebody, you're talking to somebody, you know.
Okay. All right. I guess in a sense, I mean, can I just ask you, how do you feel lately before you go on stage? Or have you always felt this way? Like, because I like to try to find that zone. Do you find if somebody's talking your ear off before you go to perform, are you like, you need like, I need 2 minutes.
No,
I need just
I don't
2
need
minutes.
that.
Just leave me alone in my own headspace
No.
before I go on so I can center everything and then.
No, I don't need that. I mean, it might be just like, no, I mean, I think it's, I already know what I'm going to do unless I'm like, all right, I got to start, you know, just.
New bit?
Yeah, something like that. But I don't need that whole, like, I need to be by myself, kind of like center. I don't need that. I think it's more about me, but I think that's just more of doing it.
I feel like that's my meditation.
Yeah, but that's not meditation. That's just getting ready to do something. That's not meditation.
Well, I know. Well, you've redefined meditation to me.
No,
you
that's
just
not,
told me that you can do it while you walk.
It's true. I read about it. That's what it is. I don't know. Meditation is being aware of what you're doing. That's not. It's the opposite. People think it's like you're like in this. No, it's being literally aware. Because when you're aware on everything, then you do everything better because you're present. What people don't do with meditation is that you're doing something, you're thinking about something else, or you go into tangents about like eating or whatever. Like, oh, I missed today. I ate a pizza today. Now and then it starts going to a bad story of like, that means I'm gonna get fat. That means nobody's gonna like me. That means, you know, instead of going like, no, that's it. You know,
self-hatred spiral.
But that's right. What happens. That's what meditation captures that and be like, oh, I'm going into this stupid tangent again. No,
right.
Well, we got a couple more minutes. Wanted to ask you, are you, because when you travel a lot, are you superstitious, or do you have anything that you bring with you besides your fruits and your dry fruits and
nuts
besides all your things that you bring with you? But like, or is there anything like that you're like, well, you do just because, you know, superstitious or?
Well, no, I don't have any superstition, but I do always bring with me, and it's not very original, a resistance band. Because with that you can do pretty much everything you want.
So you mean the ones that are like with the leg, or the ones that are like?
It's just a resistance band with 2 handles, because you can wrap it and make it a loop, and you can also put it around a tree and do your back work.
In the hotel or anything like that.
Yeah. So with that, I bring everywhere.
Oh, that's great, because that was about to be my question. Because I was about to ask if there was a specific hotel room, because if we don't have a gym in the hotels that we're staying in, I was going to ask you for some specific exercises. Because I'll be honest, I mean, I use the sides of walls to stretch out my shoulders and stuff like that. Simple things like that in a hotel room. But I forgot about resistance bands, because having one of those in your bag is great in a hotel room.
And you can do your full body, and even if you don't have a resistance band, still no excuse. You can still do a lot of
against the wall.
Oh yeah, on the floor, like squats. Yeah, you can use the bed. You can use the couch, and you can do elevated push-ups. You can do so much.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Yes. I got it, because I take a tennis ball now. I do a bit of that. I do a bit like just to roll into the foot.
Exactly.
And stuff. I think I talked about that with you. I think
I'm the one who told you.
Yeah, I think you first told me. So I do that, and then
I have a medicine ball.
Exactly. Yeah. I also take that ball.
I also bring a roller. I bring a roller too, a little roller.
A roller, or just like the massage ball. It's small. You can put that. You can fit that anywhere. And again, it's about adding. You're like, okay, I'm out. I can't do anything. Well, when you're in the plane, why don't you roll it under your foot? You're adding. Already.
So you do that when you're in the plane? Do you do exercises on the plane? Like, are you one of those people that like starts?
I don't. But if you really think you don't have time to work out, and you really think that you need a specific place, no. In the plane, why don't you suck your belly in, hold for 10 seconds, and stop, and do it again? Trust me, if you do that regularly, your core is going to feel it.
Really?
So you can do pretty much.
Because one thing that I don't like is the people are in the airport and like they start doing like their yoga or stretching like while I'm in the gate. I'm like, okay,
in front of you in the departure
I'm
lounge.
like, enough. Like, this is too much.
Well, though I don't.
You know what you do then? No, you go and join them.
Yeah, no, I know. No.
That'll turn them off.
I go like,
let's go
all right,
line
you
up
should
next
have.
more. Are we doing downward dog? Are we?
Yeah, no, I was like, you should have wake up early and do it in your hotel room.
Yeah,
like what are you doing?
Well, no superstition, but I do bring those, and depending on the time, when I arrive, I do 1 hour of sports right away to make sure my body stays awake.
I heard that.
And,
I heard that like
and usually it works well.
I heard that I don't know if it's somebody, The Rock or one wrestler or something, that like every time, especially when you travel, as soon as you land, they go to the
Hydrate.
airport. I mean, not to the gym to like work out or at least run or walk or something, just to because it also helps you the jet lag too. Like right.
So hydrate and hit the gym for 15, 30, whatever you can do minutes.
And
Moving.
And then, what kind of cardio do you do now? Because you forgot.
Cardio, I do some type of HIIT training, but mostly on a bike now because I'm trying to stay away from any sports with impact. So the bike is a good option to do some pretty intense cardio work.
Mm-hmm. No, when you do. I was gonna ask something. I forgot now.
No.
In my mind.
I mean, usually I was about to go. Our final question that we usually ask is your favorite piece of travel advice. But all of this advice you've been given is killer. I don't know if there's anything
this is great.
outside of your field of expertise that you love to give as advice for people who are traveling around because.
Traveling, I would say, but again, it's
still health related. It's gonna be healthy.
Since it's usually some travel are for relaxing. Why don't you take more time to stretch? Yeah, and to increase flexibility and to remove some knots and make sure your body is the energy is flowing better. In your body. Is a general rule. Yeah. It's a perfect moment to do it because when we're busy, we don't have time.
That's
but
true.
When we are on a holiday,
you have more time.
So when are we doing it?
Yeah,
that's a perfect moment.
That's true.
Yep.
That's great. And then also, like, I was gonna ask, like, in terms of like drinking, like, is that a thing that you do or not? Like, and like wine, whatever.
Yeah, do you do a cheat month and a half
do
like
you
me?
drink? Do you don't drink that much? Like, how does that work with like training or anything like that? Like,
again, I can tell you just from my experience. I'm not a doctor, but I do have a glass of wine here and there. Yeah, on weekends usually. During the week, I can't because when you exercise a lot, at some point your body feels anytime you don't eat enough nutrition or you're going a bit too far in the alcohol, your body feels it and it's getting harder for you to work out. Since it's my job and I have to teach some pretty intense classes, I can't allow myself to not feel good on that day because I can't lead the people.
You can't rock up to class shit-faced? When's the last time you wandered in hungover and went, all right, pick up your own barbell?
So I'm kind of forced also to have that lifestyle.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is it a big glass of wine at least? Is it at least a big glass? Is it at least?
Like this.
Hey, well, it's after you worked to the class, you can have a good glass of wine.
I know. That's the thing I learned too. Like to stop reward. I used to reward myself if I was in a flow, in the zone, working out a lot, and then I used to think a good drink was my reward. And then I looked at the numbers, and I'm like, what am I doing? What am I doing? I'm having a good workout, and then a nice tall glass of wine when I get home.
Because alcohol is literally the definition of empty calories. I mean, that doesn't give you any nutrients, right? There's no alcohol. Is there an alcohol or something that gives you nutrients? No, right?
I don't.
No, it's all empty calories.
I'm not sure. Yeah.
It's a nice incentive, but not a healthy one.
Yeah. It doesn't do anything.
Scientists, get working on that.
Well,
give us healthy alcohol. That's what we need. Healthy. Right. I want to get shit-faced and wake up more fit. Fix that. Science.
Beer
Do
is
it.
liquid bread.
That's true. It was great. Thank you for coming. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, that felt really motivational. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and I don't know do you have any social media? If you want to let people know, you can let them know to follow you,
shout at them
or to or if you want to if they want to know about taking classes with you or anything like that.
Yeah. So I mean, I have I started a YouTube channel about actually 4 months ago. But it's called the LydiesFitness, LYDIES Fitness in one word.
Right. We'll put a link to that on here.
Yeah, and I put like short workouts actually to try to get more people move and to help people start a new routine. And most of the time it's 10 to 15 minutes workout that you can do at home. Most of them are without equipment. It doesn't mean it's easy.
Right.
You still get a good workout. And if you start implementing that on a daily basis or even just 3 times a week, 10 minutes 3 times a week is better than nothing. And that might be a way to start a new routine, a healthier routine, a better you. And a healthier life. So that's what I have. So you too.
Awesome.
Excellent.
And same on Instagram.
Great.
Wow. Yeah. Well, thanks very much.
Yeah,
for
thank
coming
you.
in here.
That was
and
great.
do this.
We learned a lot,
Fantastic.
and that was great. And definitely, we'll check out the YouTube channel.
Yeah, give her a follow at home. Start some new discipline yourself. We could all use it. There's not a single one
Yeah,
of us
everybody
that
can
except
use
for Francisco. He's perfect.
I'm already doing it.
The rest of us, we can
I'm
all use
already
it.
doing it, but you can do it like me.
Oh, man.
right.
Thanks for hanging out with us. If you got
Bye,
any
hello.
questions, hit us up.